Confidence doesn't always require big breakthroughs, and sometimes it's actually about tiny tools that shift your mindset fast. And today I'm going to give you a full list of easy tools you can use anytime, anywhere. No journal required, no prep needed, just you, your thoughts, and a few intentional moves. And so whether you're spiraling, overthinking, or just feeling off and blah, these tools will help you reset your mindset in under a few minutes, because when you use these tools, you change your mood and your confidence, which is why we're here. We're here to be able to tap into quick turnarounds. And these are the ones that I myself use when I'm stressed, when I'm doubting myself, when I'm feeling in a funk. And I promise they work fast. And they work. So let's dive in. Hey there, you're listening to episode number 678 of the Confidence Podcast. I am so glad you chose to listen to this particular episode because I'm giving you 10 easy tools for quick mindset shifts, because I want this to be a podcast that you can count on, that gives you real life, applicable content that makes a difference. These are the tools that I use when I get in a mental funk. And if you're new to the show or you just don't know me well enough, what you need to know about me is I am naturally wired as an all or nothing person. I have very, very strong, intense emotions that used to pendulum from one end of the spectrum to the other. And I just want you to know, with that context, I feel my feelings really deep, which means my highs are high and my lows are low. And when my lows are low and my hormones are at the boot, I can get down. And you might not see that in my Instagram. You might not know that about me because I have this upbeat personality, but I know what a funk feels like. I know so deeply and intimately the feelings of discouragement and dread and just drifting. And so a lot of these tools I'm going to share with you today are tools that I first created for myself, and that I have then, since in the last 12 years of coaching, really taught and used with my clients. Because while a lot of the coaching work that I do with my one-on-one clients and with my students and my students that I mentor in the College of Confidence, my group coaching program, it's a process. We bridge the gap from where you are in your life to where you want to be, from who you are to who you want to become. That's a process, but I also want to serve you at the highest level and the most practical level and give you instant application things so you can feel a difference right away. And that's what these tools will help you do. This just came up because somebody asked me, like, you talk about journaling and you talk about training your thoughts as the mental gym. And my background as a personal trainer for over a decade really makes this real gym and mental gym work. But what is the mental gym that I'm talking about, other than reading books, journaling, going and listening to this podcast? Well, the mental gym doesn't necessarily mean you need hours of free time for mindset work. It comes from micro moments. These tools are your mental gym, and every time you use them, your narrative intelligence about them, your ability to rewrite the story in your mind will increase and shift and strengthen. So we're looking at tiny shifts, because sometimes confidence doesn't need a little pep talk. It just needs a different tool, a shift, a mental reset button that you can press anytime in real time. And if you've even said to yourself, like, I know differently, but I'm still in my head, these are the tools that I want you to start using. And these quick little shifts, they don't fix the whole thing. They just get you to a better thinking place where you're a more positive thinker in the moment. When you start thinking more positively and powerfully, then you can challenge your reframes better. You can start showing up differently. Your follow through increases. You don't give up on the day. You change your attitude and change the day. And so this is really the science of micro shifts. A micro shift is a moment when you catch your thoughts before they take you somewhere you don't want to go. I like to teach people that thoughts are like trains. Every thought, it has a train of thought, and every train has a destination. And you get to, as the thinker in your brain, as the owner of your thoughts, you get to decide what trains you're going to ride. Just because a train comes through the station of your mind doesn't mean you have to get on it. I didn't know that for years. I thought every train, every thought that I had was going by the platform and I had to get on it. No different than taking a train anywhere else. You're standing on a platform in Paris and there's one train that might be going to Germany and another train that's going to Italy. You get to choose which train you're going to get on. And the one you don't want to get on, you can just wave it past. The same thing is with our thoughts. So these tools will help you wave at the trains that you don't want to get on and then get on the ones that you do. What I want to start with, let's start with the first one. This is a free tool that I teach often. Many of you have this. If you don't, please go download the actual workbook. And I have a 10-minute training video that's absolutely free. Go to trishblackwell.com/333 method. I'll make sure it's linked in the notes, but it's called the 333 method. This is a 3-minute tool that I use every single night. As a morning person, I always struggled for years with my nighttime routine. And I also struggled with emotional eating and over scrolling and just a terrible nighttime routine that it created a lot of suffering in my life. An extra 10 pounds on my body, a lack of sleep. And I kept trying to approach my nighttime with more discipline. And I really just needed a better pattern. And the 333 method is really my pivotal start to my nighttime routine. Now, for more in-depth about how to create a nighttime routine, I have that in my habits course, also in the College of Confidence. I'll make sure those are all linked as well. But the start of the routine is what's critical, and that's the 333 method. And what that does, it tells you it's time to close my day out. And it's going to create a self-validating voice. It's going to give you the ability to be grateful, to affirm yourself, and then to have focus and clarity on what you want to do the next day. It helps you prioritize versus to have the preference to get it all done. So it's very briefly 3 written gratitudes, 3 wins of the day, and 3 wins for tomorrow. It's a very in-depth process. Super simple. It takes less than 3 minutes, but if you don't yet have my worksheet and my 10-minute tutorial on it, please go download that. It's absolutely free, I promise. So trishblackwell.com/333 method. Our second tool is called Gratitude on the Go. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching the video on Spotify, I will give you a demonstration as long as you don't judge the fact that 2 of my nails have fallen off. So, gonna get my nails done tomorrow. You might go, what? That looks wonk. It does. Sometimes a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do, and I need to record, and well, I need my nails done too. So, gonna let one of those go, and it's not gonna be not showing up for you. Gratitude on the go is essentially when anytime you feel that you're feeling negative, you're feeling down, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling in a funk, you're feeling exhausted, any sort of negative emotion is when I use this. And you make a fist with your hands. You take at least one. I recommend 3 deep breaths. And then you go, okay, gratitude on the go. And you don't unclench your fists until you've come up with 10 gratitudes. Open-handed praise, okay? And it could be things that are very in-depth and profound, the charity that is doing good work in the world, and you're so grateful for the hope that they're bringing people, or it might just be the way that the leaves look while they're blowing on the trees today. I don't care what you're grateful for, but 5, 10 things, and you will find that with each one, so as you unclench your fist and you list out each one, give a breath of praise and thanksgiving for it. And once you're open-handed, it's impossible to be grateful and grumpy at the same time, okay? You will get from grumpy to grateful in 2.2. And I even do this sometimes when I'm driving. I'm not at all advocating that you take your hands off the wheel, but I have done this in traffic where I keep my hands on the wheel, but I open up my fingers as I go, and it works incredibly well because I particularly struggle with patience driving when it comes to traffic jams or construction zones and things that I feel are out of my control that are frustrating. And the next tool I want to give to you is our pods. It's our proud of the days. Because the truth is when we're feeling discouraged or you're feeling down, there's often the reoccurring low-grade voice that says you're not doing enough. You're focusing often on what you're not getting done versus on what still has yet to get done versus on how you are doing well, what you are winning at. And I want to help you create the evidence to your brain that you are winning in life. If you feel like you're winning, very much like DJ Khaled said, all you do is win. When you think of yourself as a winner, you will keep winning. And you don't have to win in big ways, but in micro ways. So one of my favorite things is the pods. And I do the same thing as a gratitude on the go. I take a fist when I'm in a funk and I'm like, and I feel behind. This is when you use this tool. When you feel like you're not doing enough or you should be doing better. I go, I'm proud of myself for blank. I'm proud of myself for this. I'm proud of myself for not using my nail falling off as an excuse not to record this podcast. I'm proud of myself for giving my dog a prolonged walk today and being a good and engaged and present dog owner. I'm proud of myself for doing a hard thing in my business. Like, you have to give yourself the atta girls and the atta boys and the pats on the back, and the pods will do that for you. Use that anytime you feel discouraged, you feel behind, you feel in a funk. Our fourth tool is reframing. What you do in reframing is you take a negative thought and you turn it into a better thought. It's the art of rewriting a thought. It's in order to reframe effectively, and I would teach you, we've had many episodes on reframing, so you can scroll back and find those in our list. Or if you want the accelerated master level version, go check out my Reframing Mastery course. It teaches you in 5 sessions. It's 5 30-minute sessions, exactly how to not just know how to reframe your thoughts, but master the skill and art of reframing. Reframing changed my life. This is the #1 tool that changed the way I think, the way I think about myself, the way I think about my potential, the way I think about my happiness, all of that. But in order to tap into true reframing, we have to start with curiosity. What else could be true? How could this be helping me grow? And every time you at least say, I'm going to reframe it, you're taking the power back in your brain. Any given time, there's a battle for your thoughts between a positive and negative perspective. And you can take any thought, and this is not toxic positivity. This is wisdom and inherent control of your thoughts and your focus. And there's so much power. I do daily reframing throughout the day. And if you're familiar with my journaling methods, again, those are all linked in the show notes as well. Reframing is the core part of my morning routine. I start my day writing 5 gratitudes. I then scan my brain and ask myself, is there anything negative here? Is there a thought that doesn't belong? And I write negative or /toxic. And then the next line is reframe /truth. And I answer my thoughts. Reframing is the ability to have a conversation with yourself as if you were a friend or coach to yourself. All right, our 5th tool is our first thought awareness. So first thought is a concept I teach in my morning routine in the Habits program, but also to my College of Confidence students. You might have heard me mention it previously on podcast episodes in the past, but it is one of the best tools. And I learned this tool maybe 8 years ago, and it changed so much. Actually, it was 8 years ago because it was when I became a mom of 2. And no one told me that 2 is hard. 1 is hard, but then 2 under 2, or my daughter was 2 when my son was born, I was exhausted. And I found myself every day living the life of my dreams. I could not love motherhood more, but I was so exhausted that I started the day negative. I started the day losing. I started the day with the first thought being, I'm so tired. And I got to tell you, your first thought dictates the rest of your day. Your first thought sets the tone for the day. And I found so much peace in realizing that this is a tool versus something to feel guilty about. Because if I recognized it as a tool, then I could use it and change it. And I was no longer victim to it, but I could be victorious because of it. And so I am not responsible for the very first thoughts that come to my head when I wake up of, the alarm, or when my head is still on the pillow. But when my head gets up, when I decide it's time to start the day, that is when I say first thought. So sometimes if I wake up tired and my first thought is I'm tired, I refuse to start my day that way with that thought, because that thought is going to set the tone of an entirely negative perspective the whole day. Or if you go, I don't want to do blank, go to work, do this, whatever. Do whatever you can. I do gratitude on the go if I'm feeling negative. Start before I'm even getting my head off the pillow. Immediately go to gratitude. Use your breath to your advantage. And then before your feet hit the ground, your first thought, that's your first thought. When you sit up in bed, you need to say first thought. And I want you to decide to make it a good thought. And it could be as simple as today is going to be a good day. I'm thankful for this chance to win a new day. I am thankful for the gift of life and breath that I have today. You could even just be like, let's go, girl. Hey, you've got this. This one first thought shapes your entire narrative for the day. So first thought, awareness, first thought, ownership is so huge. And this is a great tool to start practicing. Our sixth tool is a consistency tracker. Why? Because confidence comes from keeping your promises to yourself. But if you're not tracking your consistency and tracking your follow through, you'll discount it. It won't feel as valuable. You won't note it. You'll start trying to be perfect and then you'll give up because we're not seeking perfection. We're seeking consistency. And so the patterns of consistency and tracking your consistency becomes proof of who you are. And you will then anchor your identity into being somebody who follows through. And when you believe that you are someone and you identify as someone and your self-concept is that of someone who follows through, then if you follow through and you don't give up, then you have the ability to do anything that you say you're going to do. You become a person who keeps your promises to yourself. And if you follow through and do anything that you say you're going to do, well, then your self-trust and your ability to do anything just skyrockets. And so you can do anything, but you won't believe that you can do anything unless you have visual evidence that look at how consistent I am and you value consistency because often, consistency is not sexy. Consistency is not convenient. Consistency is not what you feel like doing it. But when you put it on paper and you have a system that tracks it, you will feel good about it. Even if it's only making a tiny bit of a difference, you're going to go, it doesn't matter, I was consistent. And you will celebrate the consistency rather than the execution of it. And that will get you the higher level ability to not attach to the destination, but rather to celebrate and find your confidence in the journey. You can do this on paper. You can do this with like a general spreadsheet. I have a consistency tracker in my systems program, again, in the show notes, or you can go to trishblackwell.com/system. Let's get on to the seventh tool. This one is one of my most fun tools. This is a tool that will help you be perceived as more confident. If you're feeling insecure or like kind of out of place, this is when I want you to use this tool, and it's called compliments like confetti. And I want you to literally think about the last compliment that you received. How good does it feel? And think about the person who gave you the compliment. That person, when they complimented you, they sound and seemed secure in themselves. To be able to compliment others, you have to be secure enough in yourself to give somebody else praise without feeling threatened if it's a sincere compliment. And so you feel good about you feel good about them. Giving compliments to other people is one of the fastest ways to come off and seem more confident. And so confidence is this through the outward generosity of your words towards others gives this shift in social confidence that will change your own internal state of how you feel. So what is the tool? I want you to imagine yourself going through the day. And I don't want you to just imagine it. I want you to do it and give out compliments like confetti. Like I want you to be I think sometimes we under compliment people because we're like, well, I don't want to be like cringe, or I don't want to be like too much, or so what? Like why would you ever hold back from building someone up? Especially when you know that the more you give out compliments like confetti, the more you spread confetti out, it falls on you too. You become the beneficiary and the recipient of the praise, of the feedback, of the good vibes, of the good feelings. It grows, and then what it also does is that this generosity interrupts any insecurity that you're feeling internally, and your confidence will start focusing on others, building others up, and get you away from focusing inward and getting distracted with your own negative thoughts about yourself. So if you're struggling to reframe a negative thought about yourself, go ahead and tap into this tool, compliment like confetti, and then you'll have changed the internal state of your self-talk and be able to be more effective in your reframe towards your thoughts about yourself. All right. Our eighth tool is box breathing. This is a tool, you know that there's so many different breath tools that we can use to feel good, to present ourselves. But I like box breathing because it's simple. It's a 4-4-4 method. I did this with my kids this morning when one of them was stressed. And it's inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold for 4. Inhale for 4, hold for 4. Exhale for 4, hold. And you can visualize starting with the box, drawing the box with your brain, going, I'm here in this corner. I'm going to inhale for 4. I'm going to hold for 4. I'm going to exhale for 4. I'm going to hold for 4. Do that 4 times and it will calm the body, slow your racing thoughts, reopen your logic brain, get you back into your prefrontal cortex from your amygdala brain. And you can use this when you're stressed, when you're feeling insecure, before you go into a big meeting, before performance, before you record a podcast. I used this last night in the night when I woke up with a racing mind and was awake for an hour. The box breathing got me to accept that there's no rush to fall back asleep, that rest is rest. Sleep is better, but rest is good. I didn't put pressure on myself, and box breathing helps. All right, tool number 9. You've heard me. We talked about this. Gosh, we talked about this last week. It's the 3 questions. I love the 3 questions. Here's what you're going to ask yourself. This will carry daily momentum, clarity. This is one of the best things to do after you do anything, after you do a consultation, after you do a workout, after your day. This is part of my nighttime routine that I do every single day. And it is, what did I do well? What can I do better? And what will I do different next time? Go back and listen to last week's episode for a more in-depth explanation of this. But this asking the 3 questions is one of the fastest ways out of overthinking. But also it's a way to give yourself the clarity to realize that, wait a second, I am doing well. I could I have done better? Yes. This will get you out of perfectionism and into progress. I am pursuing progress, not perfection. Therefore, I'm going to give myself credit. Like, what did I do well? And you can do this in general. You can do this about your marriage. You can do this about a presentation. You can do this about your work day. You can do this about a workout. It can be very specific or very broad. Hey, what did I do well? What could I have done better? And what will I do differently next time? And then our final 10th tool is affirmations, customized and personalized use of affirmations or self-talk. Generic affirmations don't work, but learning how to write power phrases or affirmations that are relevant to the thoughts that you have about yourself, the thoughts that you want to build, the narrative you want to build in your brain based on your thought errors or flaws that you have, or your toxic thoughts. We want to build believable affirmations. And I like to think of affirmations like mental vitamins, but they only work when they fit you. And I have a whole affirmation customizable engine. You can find that in the show notes or at trishblackwell.com/affirmations. But your words are powerful. And one of the ways that you can start working on affirmations is writing one every single day for yourself. Keep it short, keep it simple. This is my 4th step in my morning journaling. I just write a simple affirmation, and it could be today my heart overflows with joy and I make a difference everywhere I go. Or today, my family will feel the love I have for them, and I will represent God's love in this world. I mean, I'm kind of just talking off the cuff. I like to write a personalized affirmation based on the initial core negative thought that I'm feeling earlier in that day. But journaling is the first place to start with affirmations, writing a sort of like an anchor for your day. I don't want you to read a list of a bunch of random affirmations. I want you to write yourself the small coaching statement. It's what it is. An affirmation is just a simple truth that you say, I'm going to remember this today. I'm going to remember this, and I'm going to make this the center point of my GPS. This is going to be what I dial in, what I'm following, and who I'm going to be today. It will help you increase your clarity, build your mental toughness, but also not get distracted by what doesn't matter. And I have actually an entire episode of the podcast that I have dedicated to affirmations. It is a throwback. It's episode 593, Why Your Affirmations Aren't Working. So I want you to go check that one out. Scroll all the way back to 593 or go to trishblackwell.com/593. That will break you through why your affirmations aren't working and what to do to make them work instead. Look, a challenge for you as we close out is pick one of these tools and apply it today. And then share the show with a friend and have them apply a tool. And together, build a little accountability system with one another that you start putting these tools into action. If you want one more fun tool to do on your own or share with others, check out my mind games that I do. I have over 27 mind games that I play with myself. I play with my kids. I teach to my clients. Mind games that promote and help you become and feel more confident that you can do throughout the day. I bundled those all into one bundle for you. Go to trishblackwell.com/mind games to find more about those. Hey, the goal here in general with all of these tools is not perfection. It's pattern interruption. The moment you notice there's a pattern of insecurity, pattern of distracted thinking, or you feel in a funk, use one of these tools to create space, to change something, and to create peace, power, and possibility. And remember this, confidence is not about looking perfect. Confidence is not about always having positive, perfect feelings or having it all together. It's about having the tools for when you don't. You are never more than one thought away from feeling different. So start small, shift fast, and remember your mind listens to what you tell it. So tell it truth. Speak to yourself with grace and love and compassion, and keep showing up. You're one thought away, one tool away from feeling different. And that, my friend, is good news.